Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results in your neighborhood. Now it's 6:30.
Good evening. This is News 6 at 6:30, Getting Results. Thank you for joining us here live on News 6 Plus. I'm Ginger Gadsden.
And I'm Justin Mormith. Well, the federal government has been making a lot of reductions, and not even Veteran Affairs is safe. More than 1,000 employees have been let go since last week.
Now, these cuts have left some veterans worried about the future. News 6 reporter Stephanie Rodriguez is getting results for veterans with questions at a town hall.
How do we get responses when we need them for veterans in need?
At an open forum for veterans to share their concerns,
that would help a lot of people on their health care.
Many made their voices heard.
I'm just asking, what are y'all doing to correct the problem for everybody?
The town hall, hosted by the Orlando VA healthcare system, gave veterans a chance to get updates about their benefits.
How is Congress going to help protect us as veterans if they try to come after our disabilities and our disability pay mainly, because a lot of us, we depend on that to pay our bills, to pay our mortgage.
One man asked Democratic Congressman Darren Soto and Maxwell Frost how they'll defend veterans' interests on Capitol Hill.
If the administration tries to come after that and take that away from us, or take away our VA health care and make us pay for health care, what is Congress going to do to step in and protect us so that that is not taken away from us?
While there were no Republicans on the panel, both Frost and Soto shared Democrats' litigation efforts to block some of the cuts, with Frost urging veterans to make their voices heard.
And go out to a lot of our colleagues on the other side of the aisle, a lot of our Republican members, saying, it don't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican or independent or whatever, we don't want cuts to our veterans' benefits.
Vietnam and Iraq war veteran Wally Lopez tells me it was important for him to ask about how they plan to get more people on the job to improve quality of care.
We see nurses that they work 16 hours, and then after 16 hours, they come the next day and work 8 hours.
But with the VA abiding by the federal government hiring freeze and more than 1,000 people recently let go, increasing the workforce isn't likely. The VA says they'll save $98 million annually by losing those positions and will redirect that money. But many are still concerned they'll be left with little help if their disability and health care benefits are reduced.
Some of us can't go out and get full-time jobs because of our disabilities.
In Lake Nona, Stephanie Rodriguez, Getting Results, News 6.
All right, taking a look at our forecast now. Did you notice anything this morning?
Yeah, it was gloomy, and it was a little chilly. Here's the thing, as the day progressed, it got beautiful out there. So let's get over to meteorologist Julie Broughton. She's in for Jonathan at 6:30. A really nice night, but bundle up, Julie, because tomorrow morning is going to be brutal.
Oh, yeah, and some spots will feel like the 20s tomorrow when you're heading out to work and school, so a really very unusually cold morning for us. Here's how we're doing right now. This is a live look outside in Volusia County. This is our Daytona Beach sky cam, really pretty shot there of sunset for you. 56 degrees right now. Winds are coming in along the coast from the northeast at 9 miles per hour. You're sitting at 60 in Sanford, 61 in Leesburg. It is 59 in the Villages, and you are sitting at 56 in Palm Coast. Now, we only went to a high in Orlando today of 67 degrees. The normal high this time of year is 76. Our overnight low was 55, and the normal low is 53. Now, here's a look at our forecast lows for tonight. So we are talking about some really cold temperatures, but we're not dipping into record territory. In Orlando, we'll go to 41. The record was set in 2015. That is 33 degrees. Melbourne, you can expect 48. Daytona Beach going to 41. And Leesburg, you will wake up tomorrow in the 30s. Now, we do have some winter weather advisories in place, and some of you will feel like the 20s. We'll tell you how cold it will feel where you are coming up.
All right, Julie, thank you. Well, DeLand police are reopening a 44-year-old cold case, and tonight we are hearing from the family of the victim. Police say 78-year-old Melly Koger was found dead all the way back in 1981.
They recently re-interviewed key witnesses and submitted more DNA. As News 6's Molly Reed explains, police now think they're closing in on a person of interest.
The police chief here in DeLand thinks that within the next couple of weeks, they'll be giving a case presentation to the state attorney's office to hopefully indict the person they believe murdered Melly Koger 44 years ago.
She raised me from the time I was 4 years old, and she's my role model, and she was such a loving person.
Decades of waiting for an answer as to who killed their loved one. 78-year-old Melly Koger died on February 10th, 1981.
She was very giving. And I think this is how it all happened, because the word got out that you could go to her for this, and from what I can gather, the person that did it took advantage of it.
Coger's case was the oldest cold case out of 19 DeLand police currently have.
I saw that there's potential in it, and we started submitting DNA evidence that we had to FDLE. And that's where we're going from there, is with that new technology of DNA.
Now, parts of Stetson University are now where Coger's house once stood, here on East Michigan Avenue. That's where police say back then they found her brutally beaten and murdered.
We're going to exhaust every possible avenue that we can exhaust to try to get to justice.
A suspect was identified at the time of the murder, but there wasn't enough proof for charges. With fresh interviews of witnesses, police now believe they have the proof their original suspect is still their prime person of interest. They're just waiting now on the new DNA technology's results.
Hopefully we can put an end to this. It's been a long time, a very long time.
The police cannot give us the name of that person of interest just yet, but say he is already incarcerated for another murder that happened in Oviedo in 1987. In DeLand, Volusia County, I'm Molly Reed, getting results, News 6.
A top executive in charge of getting NASA back to the moon is suddenly retiring. After 35 years, NASA announced Associate Administrator Jim Free is leaving the space agency in just 2 days.
News 6's James Barbero is wondering if Free is the first domino to perhaps fall in a possible shakeup for the Artemis program.
Our campaign of human exploration, science, and discovery that began with Artemis 1 continues with Journeys to the Moon and then Journeys on to Mars.
Just not with Jim Free in charge anymore. This was NASA's third highest ranking executive back in December, sitting next to an Artemis 2 astronaut, talking about returning Americans to the moon. Free has defended what critics call an outdated and wasteful rocket, the Artemis program's SLS, like in this interview last year on 60 Minutes. Free responded to NASA's own Inspector General, saying at a cost of $4 billion per launch, SLS is unsustainable.
We didn't necessarily agree with their conclusions. We feel like we've taken an affordable path to do these missions. We believe that the rocket we have is best matched for the mission, and frankly, the only one in the world that can take crews to the moon.
Free is the biggest name to leave NASA since this new reduction in force directive went into effect. It doesn't expire until next February, so there's no telling how many NASA workers could be off the job by the first Artemis launch with astronauts, if that even stays on schedule, with the Trump administration potentially considering a new direction for the space agency.
You've got Elon Musk, the chairman of founder of SpaceX, who's in charge of this committee that's looking at what they call government waste. We don't know yet what's going to happen when they get around to NASA. So I think there's a huge wait and see mood right now in the space industry to find out just what's going to happen and how that's going to affect all of these contractors.
NASA's next update on the Artemis program with reporters is scheduled for March 7th. Whatever we learn then about the future of the moon program, we'll let you know. At NASA's Kennedy Space Center, I'm James Sparvero, getting results, News 6.
I mean, there's quite a bit in flux right now when it comes to that, and you know,
Seems
we
like
want to go back.
It's up in the air, Justin.
It's up in the air, perhaps all the way to the moon, up in the air. All right, let's take a look at what's trending right now on Central Florida's #1 news website, clickorlando.com. Well, we all love Publix, right? Shopping is a pleasure there, but another grocer is challenging Publix's dominance as the most satisfying store here in the Sunshine State. The American Customer Satisfaction Index tracks how shoppers enjoy stores across the U.S., and its latest ranking now has Publix tied for #1.
Oh, okay.
Tied.
So that's down from the top spot last year. You'll have to visit clickorlando.com to see the full list. But if you like the grocery store that's now tied with Publix, good luck finding a place. Oh,
You know it.
I know. As soon as you talk about no place to park, we know what it is.
We know it. I mean,
oh my gosh.
We know Trader Joe's has a lot of perks. Pricing is a perk.
A lot of perks, but no parking.
No parking. Some great staff. Love to talk to them.
The flowers.
The flowers
beautiful.
are fantastic, but anytime you go to Trader Joe's, you know you got to stop at Publix to get the remaining stuff. That's a guarantee.
Maybe they'll merge.
Maybe.
Here are some of the other stories trending right now on clickorlando.com. Jelly Rolls, Disney World's dueling piano bar, will close its doors after 29 years of entertainment and fun late nights. On Facebook, the business shared its plans to relocate from Boardwalk Resort and open somewhere else, but we don't know if that's in Orlando or somewhere else at Disney.
Always a fun place. And President Donald Trump floated out a plan to pay out $5,000 stimulus checks to taxpayers. He's calling it a Doge dividend. ClickOrlando.com analyzes the economic impact of this and what would need to happen to make it a reality. Well, every cent counts when it comes to supporting the leaders of tomorrow.
Yeah, one woman takes that to heart. The philanthropist who is swinging with purpose and making sure an Orlando youth center keeps getting results.
And yes, that is New York tap water in a can. You're not going to find this at the grocery store, though. The specific instructions to get a 4-pack for yourself, that's coming up.
Ooh, make bagels.
You can make everything, even hot dogs. You're watching News 6 at 6:30 live on News 6 Plus. We're getting results in Satellite Beach, Howey in the Hills, and all of Central Florida. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Thursday evening traffic alert. You're going to see some kind of routine construction happening on the western portions of 408, but we'll also see some heavy stuff out here along 429. No major shutdown, but lane closures will be present, so you got to be careful there. And then, of course, our hot spot over on 417, over in Seminole and Orange County line. No closures, but lane closures will be happening. I'm Trooper Steve with the News 6 traffic alert. Drive safely, and I'll catch you in the morning.
Well, there's often a big price tag when it comes to keeping the lights on at community centers, but you can't put a price on how those places can give kids opportunities to excel. And that's the approach at the New Image Youth Center in Paramore.
Yeah, it relies on grants and donations to stay funded, but I met one woman who's swinging with purpose and making sure the center keeps getting results for Orlando's youth.
Hey, you guys.
It's a jam-packed and busy day.
Hey, King.
For the students and staff at New Image Youth Center in Paramore.
All right, who has homework?
It's an after-school program started by Dr. Shanta Barton Stubbs. The nonprofit is a safe haven for kids from kindergarten to 24 years old.
We're known as the Good in the Hood, and it is always our goal to provide a safe haven for the youth and to make sure that they are excelling in certain areas such as academics.
You're gonna add all those together.
Social development.
Very good.
Health and wellness. We have a crisis intervention program and social justice.
This is sweet basil.
They even teach kids gardening skills. New Image has been growing in Paramore for 20 years now, yet it was started somewhat by accident.
What I was doing at the time was playing a game of Monopoly with 4 children, and those kids began to come back every day and ask for me. So here we are 20 years later. It's not like I chose this 100%, but it definitely chose me.
With only $1,500 and a dream, she made the center her life's work.
He was a famous boxer before becoming a civil rights leader.
They rely on grants and donations to stay open, but sometimes those funds are low.
Not only do we swing with purpose, but we also putt with purpose.
Tee up Diana Riley. After retiring early from a successful career in the insurance industry, Riley moved to Orlando from Naples and has turned her love for golf into a mission to support grassroots organization. So she started swinging with a purpose.
So I'm very passionate about the game. Having played the game for now 30 plus years, I was blessed enough to retire early. I was in Naples where there's a very generous community that believes in giving back. I've always been one to give back and be involved in my community.
The organization aims to support women, girls, and children.
Our mission is always to look out for the grassroots communities. Those organizations, they don't have the bandwidth, Ginger, that most of the larger organizations do to be able to tap into the golf philanthropic dollars. So our goal is to be the face of those organizations, to advocate for them, to make the community aware that these organizations exist.
Her first golf tournament was a resounding success, raising $100,000 in grants for 5 organizations, including the $50,000 last year that was given to New Image.
She was the poster child for who we like to help. She was this small organization, true grassroots. There's no better description of grassroots than New Image Youth Center. And what she does to these 60 plus kids that she serves there, and a lot of people didn't know about her. So that is exactly who we look for and who we want to help.
And here's the thing, you don't have to do anything. You can just enjoy your life and live out here and no one would ever know. Why are you doing it?
Because it matters and it gives me joy. My mom always said, to whom much is given, much is required.
Barton Stubbs says Riley and Swinging with a Purpose have been a blessing to her and on par with what she's trying to accomplish at New Image, one child at a time.
And in the climate in the world that we're living in now, we really need to focus on being able to nurture each other, show love, show that compassion, and just being able to build up communities and not tear them down.
It really was so heartwarming to meet both these ladies. It was just incredible. So Swinging with Purpose is hosting a golf tournament next week on Monday, February 24th. It'll be at the Lake Nona Golf and Country Club. The shotgun start is at 10 in the morning. Good luck getting a space. I think it's already sold out. They have Nancy Lopez is their spokesperson, and she will be out there. Grant Hill will also be out there, and a lot of other people, names that you probably know. They realize the importance of something like this and want nothing more than to give back. But kudos to Miss Riley, who doesn't.
I love her story.
I know.
I absolutely love it. I mean, she goes, listen, we're just playing Monopoly. These kids coming back. I didn't choose it. It chose me. I mean,
yeah. Her parents are pastors. Her parents are pastors, so she comes by it honestly because just meeting her, her presence is just so angelic, and she's so thoughtful and so kind, and these kids love her and actually need her.
And you know what? Just watching the video of the center and looking at the faces of the kids, they absolutely love that place. It is such a safe haven for them, and I'm just glad it's in the community and people like her exist so they can carry it on. So what a great story.
Kudos to you guys. Thank you for what you do. Well, February is almost over, but Black History Month is celebrated year-round here at News 6. If anyone in your community is making a difference, please share their story with us at clickorlando.com/Black History Month. Again, it could be June, July. We just want to hear the stories.
That's right. Bring them on. We love it. Gonna be hard to top that one, though. Fantastic. All right, let's give you a live look outside. Beautiful shot from the Launch Credit Union Port Cam at Port Canaveral.
Wow.
I imagine there aren't a ton of people at one of those restaurants right there on the deck watching that sunset. Maybe it's an inside night because it is chilly and it's dropping quickly. Meteorologist Julie Broughton here now. I mean, just how cold are we going to go is the question.
Yeah, and we were talking about not near record territory, but certainly it will feel like that when you step out the door. It's going to feel like the 20s in some spots.
Okay, we had heat lamps last night. That's not going to work.
No, it's not really going to be a hangout outside evening or morning. So you need to dress the kids in layers tomorrow morning. We will go into the low 60s for highs tomorrow afternoon, but still much cooler than normal. Here's what you need to know with your weather headlines. Again, if you're in northwestern areas like the Villages, Ocala, that's where we're talking about temperatures feeling like the 20s. Not actual air temperatures, but how it will feel when you factor in those northwesterly winds. Now, as we move through the day for our Friday, I think we'll enjoy a lot of sunshine. It will still be on the chilly side, warming only into the low 60s. And then by the weekend, those temperatures begin to moderate a little bit, and we will be back in the low 70s for our highs. Here's what we were talking about as far as what you can expect when you wake up and head out the door for work and school tomorrow. It will feel like 37 in Orlando. 36 is how it will feel in Kissimmee. It will feel like the low 40s along our southern coastal areas in Brevard County, and feeling like the mid to upper 20s from Ocala down through the Villages and back toward Wildwood. Now, we do have cold weather advisories posted for Marion, Sumter, and Polk counties because of those wind chill readings. We also have a freeze warning in place overnight into the first part of the day tomorrow for most of Marion County. Here's how we're doing right now. You step outside with the winds factored in. It is a little on the brisk side. We're sitting at 58 in the Villages. If you're in DeLand, you are at 56, 60 right now in Sanford, and you are at 58 degrees right now in Micco. Taking a look over downtown Orlando right now, we are seeing clear skies, 61 degrees with those winds coming in out of the west-northwest at 10 miles per hour. Here's your hour-by-hour forecast featuring Matisse, who is so handsome. 56 degrees at 8 o'clock. We drop to 54 degrees at 9 o'clock, and by 10 o'clock in the low 50s. ClickOrlando.com/pins to share your pet photos with us. Here's a look at the southeastern United States, the satellite and radar imagery. In these color contours you see, those represent the temperatures. So that blue you see to the north, that will continue diving south through the overnight hours, being transported in by those northwesterly winds. All of the cool weather today is thanks to this cold front that went through our area yesterday, and so that is going to keep us cooler than normal as we head through the next couple of days. Your cloud sun rain forecast taking you through the rest of the evening hours. Skies stay mostly clear. Notice the arrows with those northerly winds as we take you to 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, especially along the coast. Winds do shift a little bit more northeasterly. That means we could pick up a little bit more cloud cover along the coast. Some of the models have been hinting at a few isolated showers for our coastal areas. Rain chance will be less than 10%. I think we'll see more sun than clouds as we head through the day tomorrow. Now, here's your pinpoint accurate forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Florida Lottery.
Overnight in Orlando, we fall to 41 degrees. Northern interior spots, you go into the 30s. Expect a high of 62 for your high tomorrow, and then 49 as we start things out on Saturday. 70 for your high Saturday. A few isolated showers Sunday and Monday. By Tuesday, we are back in the normal range of 76, and then Wednesday and Thursday, we go into the upper 70s. Stay with us. News 6 at 6:30. We'll be right back.
Coming up in the morning, getting students ready for life after high school.
That's right. Picking up a career path can be tough. We'll show you the program allowing local teens to explore their options while getting paid at the same time.
And a chilly pinpoint forecast and traffic every 10 minutes. We'll see you for News 6 Morning Star at 5.
All right, it doesn't matter if it's New York pizza, New York bagels, or New York hot dogs. There is a special ingredient that makes them taste unlike any others in the world.
It's the tap water.
It's the tap.
So now Nathan's Hot Dogs is giving everyone a chance to win canned New York City tap water. You heard me right. That green can holds the good stuff, apparently, for boiling hot dogs, making fresh dough, and I guess you can drink it if you want to.
Sure.
It's not going to be in the grocery stores, though.
All right, so you have to win a 4-pack of cans, and you have until 2:19 p.m. tomorrow to register on Nathan's famous website. I'm curious what the time. 2:19 p.m. There has to be something with the time.
Was it supposed to be on February 19th?
Is it their area code?
No, it's not. I looked up the area code. It is. It's 2:19, and it started on 2:20. So it started today, 2:20.
Okay, gotcha.
Maybe that has something to do with it. The date.
We're no investigators, but we figured that one out.
Believe me, I Googled it. I read that story earlier. I go, what's up with the time there? I want to be ready for that. But really cool.
Yeah. Their bagels are different and good. All right, thank you so much for watching News 6 at 6:30.
Stream News 6 anytime on News 6 Plus. We hope you have a great night. Take care.
Robotic surgery is revolutionizing the landscape of healthcare, and Orlando Health is leading the way. Joining us now to talk about yet another exciting breakthrough is Dr. Lucas Wiegand with Orlando Health Medical Group Urology. Thanks so much for being here with us today, Dr. Wiegand.
Hi, Elizabeth. Happy to be here.
Okay, so robotic surgery, we know there are a lot of advantages: shorter recovery time, better outcomes, and it really comes down to the small, precise incisions that you make. Why are those so important?
With robotic surgery, we know that the advancement has been decreasing the size of the incisions. And now with the single port robot, we have been able to change where we put those incisions so that they're in areas that are less painful and promote even faster recovery times.
Okay, so what types of patients would you potentially be using this for? What procedures would they need, and where does it make the most sense?
A lot of what I'm doing is cancer survivorship or congenital problems. What that means is that patients that have recovered from their cancer operations that cured the disease, and now they have ongoing problems that require further treatment, and this allows us to do that in a collaborative way.
A lot of times post-cancer treatments, the patient is fragile. They, have really been through a lot. So does the fact that they only have to go through one procedure to fix problems, really just extend the amount of time that they're not in recovery and,
Absolutely. There are patients that are having to stop their cancer treatments that are ongoing, chemotherapy and things. And so the faster that they can get back to those treatments, the better their ultimate outcome will be, while also no longer having these problems from their original procedures.
I bet you have a lot of success stories from this.
Sure. I mean, a case comes to mind where a patient, a young woman, had multiple abdominal procedures for a cancer where they were done through a big open incision multiple times. The single port robot allowed me to make a very small incision away from where all the other surgery was and really pinpoint down to the area where the problem was. And she was able to go home the next day.
Wow.
And this problem that was causing her to essentially be in diapers was fixed. And so this patient was able to get this procedure that otherwise would have required another big open incision and all the risks that go with that, in a week or more in the hospital, in a way that was minimally invasive and very much easier to recover.
And if you would like more information, you can visit orlandohealth.com/urology.